most influential people in the world today. So we said, let's go by defense budgets, right? Who presides over the biggest defense budgets in the world? $70 billion, that's impressive. And he's an impressive guy if anyone knows a little bit more about him. $130 billion. Xi Jinping, very, very influential man. And finally, this is no surprise, right? $600 billion defense budget. Barack Obama. So we thought about it, and I thought long and hard, and I said, is there a man who controls more than half of the world's oil and gas reserves, has a $70 billion defense budget? A man who controls 1.3 billion people and a $130 billion defense budget? Or a man who basically controls the only real superpower in the world today and a $600 billion defense budget? Which one of these three men are the most powerful? And then I realized a few years ago that there was one more budget and one more nation that was far larger than all of this. Far larger than $800 billion. That's all of that put together. Over $2 trillion. $2 trillion. That's more than double of all the three defense budgets put together. And I said, who controls this? And I quickly realized that it wasn't that difficult, right? I looked at that person every day in the mirror. I turned left and I turned right. And that's who controlled this massive industry. Globally, the fashion industry is over $2 trillion. And the control had suddenly, overnight, shifted into our hands. Into your hands, my hands, everybody. And how did that happen? What was the driver for that move and that shift in power? And that was technology, right? Today, what we don't realize is that every click that we make on Facebook, every like that we give to a brand on Instagram, sends alarm bells off in their offices. I guarantee you that if one of you tweeted to Zara right now while I was speaking and said I bought a dress or a shirt from you and I'm not happy with the quality, by the time I'm done speaking, they would have tweeted back to you and tried to solve the problem. What many of you might not realize is that every second you spend on a certain part of one of these products and brands or retailers' websites, they're learning a little bit about you and trying to give you what you want. Fashion used to be decided by a small group of very, very talented individuals. But these people sat high up and then fashion trickled down. Today it's the other way around. Fashion has moved completely into our hands, and our weapons are those little cell phones that sit in our pockets, those computers that sit in our offices and in our homes, the watches that are soon going to be on our wrists, the wearable devices that we're going to now use to control every part of our life. We affect fashion a lot more than we realize, and we influence fashion a lot more than we realize. We, all the way from production, right? Fast fashion as a category didn't exist until the late 80s and early 90s. There was no Zara, there was no H&M, there was no Forever 21, right? The advent of technology gave us these brands. Women don't wear corsets anymore. I don't think there's a single girl in this room wearing those pointed conical bras, right? Because now it's all about what we want, not about what some talented person wants. And that's very, very, very powerful. Today, if I want a suit, I won't wait more than 5 hours. I won't even leave my living room. It'll be delivered to my doorstep. 20 years ago, if my father wanted to buy a suit, he'd have to go to the tailor, he'd have to wait a week before it even was delivered to him. Content. What we thought of content used to be, those glossy magazine covers that had, there had been months and months of work into every edition. Today, each and every one of us create content. Every post on Facebook, every like on Instagram, every selfie we take affects the fashion industry and affects it massively. There's been a systemic shift in power, and that power now lies with us. We now control the largest defense budget in the world, by far. And I didn't think I'd be saying this over here, or quoting Spider-Man, but with great power comes great responsibility. And as custodians of this power, I think it's important that we invest, we continually innovate, we continually invent and grow sustainable fashion that's consumer-focused, environmental friendly, and really, really, really democratizes fashion further and further every day. I know everyone else took a little bit more time than me, but I'm done, and I'm really excited about the next decade because everyone over here is a custodian of this power along with me. So it'll be great for the journey forward. Thank you.